We want to make sure that we're not distracting the people who eventually can be here. We want them to kind of graduate to do this. And if that's undergrad, this is grad school. Welcome to the Wealthy Fitness Entrepreneur. Doug Spurling and I are here, and we're excited to kick this off. This is episode number 1. Doug, let's get to it.
Yeah, excited to be here and excited to help gym owners take it to the next level and build some wealth.
Yes. So really I guess impetus for this was the fact that so much of what's talked about in the fitness industry is about people just that early or intermediate stage business owner focusing on generating leads, closing sales, generating some early gross revenue. And it's not that stuff's not important. It's just that there are a number of business owners who've already kind of conquered that step and are interested in what's next. So, Doug, I mean, what do you want to share? What type of things do you want to share through the episodes that we're going to do in this podcast?
Yeah, I think ultimately it's understanding that, and this could be a whole separate episode, understanding that the fitness business is a cash flow business. And I've had the gym now for 12 years, and there's not going to be this gigantic pot of gold at the end that I can retire on. So I feel it's really important as gym owners that we build wealth outside of the gym. So my goal would be to share strategies on how I've done that and working with other gym owners that have built wealth outside of the gym. The gym business can be very lucrative as a career, but it's probably not something that you're going to retire on. And so we want to make sure that we're building wealth outside of the gym, whether that be through real estate or other investing. But I think that starts with also having a really solid gym that produces enough cash flow. But yeah, building wealth outside of the gym, and my special interest is on the real estate side.
Yeah, so I think that obviously we want to show people that is possible, that they don't have to kind of put all their eggs in one basket and say, hey, you know what? Hopefully I can find this one buyer who's going to give me everything I need. And then I think even backing up a step from that, we want to show people how they can build a business that allows them to make sure they have the cash flow that they need to build wealth, to build an infrastructure to scale if they want. I mean, I think that between you and I, we've got some pretty unique experiences. I mean, you've built a wonderful gym in a small community that generates 7 figures annually, but you've also used that as a vehicle to build wealth through real estate, also kind of backing yourself out of the day-to-day. And then I've got a little bit of real estate experience, certainly not nearly as much as you. I've been involved in any number of other ways to scale and used a handful of other vehicles to grow wealth. And so I think we'll be able to really dive into a variety of topics that can help that business owner who may already have a strong foundation, but they're looking for what's next. They don't want to just kind of be stuck in that, hey, I'm paying myself okay, and I'm working 50 or 60 hours a week in the gym. They want to move to that next level. So it probably merits us talking about who this show is for and who it's not for.
Mhm.
I'll kind of kick that off and share that this isn't for, if you're an early stage business owner, if you're under, in a lot of cases, probably under $20,000 a month in gross revenue. And there are exceptions to that, but you'd have to be kind of a really boutique one-on-one-esque type thing if it's under that, or you've got an online business with really high margins. But typically, if you're under that, you should be focusing on, hey, how do I generate more leads? How do I generate more revenue? How do I bring on those first couple of team members so I can start to evolve my role in the business? And this isn't where you need to be spending your time, because it's probably a distraction from you building that really strong infrastructure. And I would like to say that the fitness business school that I do is is an easier place to start for that sort of thing. And a lot of the resources that we share in general through the newsletter and that sort of thing are great places to build that foundation. However, if you are at that kind of solid foundation and you do have a strong platform to build on, that's who this is for. And that's why we're actually kicking this off as an invitation only podcast, because we want to make sure that we're not distracting the people who eventually can be here. We want them to kind of graduate to do this. And if that's undergrad, this is grad school. Anything that you want to add to that?
I would just say if you are thinking about where your next client is going to come from, or how am I going to get leads next week, then that would be, because to your point, you can have a revenue of $20,000 and you're all online. That's a multiple six-figure income. However, if you're a brick and mortar and you have all this overhead, we're going to be pleased if we can get a brick and mortar gym to net for the owner a third. So if you do some quick math, a gym that does 250 grand a year in gross revenue, the owner's probably not netting six figures. And so that would be my first milestone for those folks, is let's get past that day-to-day grind of where's my next client coming from? Where's my next lead coming from? Get past that, maybe personal income at or above six figures. And then when we get to that point where the owner in the fitness business, it's arguably a diminishing return, where for you to go add 10 clients is either you have somebody in place that can help you with that, or it's probably not worth the amount of time to go add 10 clients when you could be spending your time scaling into another location or scaling your wealth outside of here. So I think this is for that gym owner that's kind of asking, okay, happy here, what's next?
So some of the topics that I know that you and I have brainstormed, kind of graduating into that CEO role, creating cash flow so that you've got that latitude to allocate it into other wealth building activities, scaling to multiple locations, potentially even licensing, franchising, finding other ways to leverage the assets that you've already created in the gym. And then I suspect that a heavy dose of real estate too, that you can pull back the curtain on and show people how you've used that. Not just, I know that you're well known for the short-term real estate investments you've made, but you own the building that your gym's in. You've expanded that building and created a way to be a landlord to other tenants in that facility. So there are a variety of things that we're going to be covering.
Yeah, for sure. And real estate is certainly a passion, but it's not, by no means, I want to be clear, it's not the only path to build wealth. As you mentioned, do you want a licensure model? Do you want to franchise it? And as hopefully you all know, listening to this, Pat's got plenty of experience there. And so I think that's an avenue. If you're still interested in the fitness business, like you're not trying to step away from the fitness business, that's a very viable model. And then obviously real estate and the short-term rental specifically, I think is interesting. Just to preview that, there's a lot of crossover in the hospitality world. In fact, building the gym, I think I learned just as much from the hospitality industry as I did the fitness industry, because we're providing a client experience, a high-end client experience. There's a lot you can learn. And so I think the skills that you developed as a gym owner, that's what I would kind of double down on at this level, is what are the skills you've developed as an entrepreneur, and how do you want to then use those to build wealth?
And neither Doug or I are financial planners or investment advisors. We certainly will share some of our own experiences and some of the experiences of clients that we've worked with to just give you an idea of what's possible, and to give you maybe some guardrails to work within to see that you don't have to just kind of sit back and hope that somebody's going to take this business off your hand 20 years from now, and that's how you're going to be able to retire. In fact, one of our early upcoming episodes will be talking through the difference between cash flow and cash out, and what that means to you and how you can use that to your advantage to start building wealth. Like I mentioned earlier, this is kind of a boutique private podcast. So as a listener, if you have questions for Doug or myself, if you have topics you want us to do deeper dives on, feel free, just shoot an email to pat@patrigsby.com with the topic, and we'll be excited to share some insight. We want this to be really valuable for that business owner who's already got a strong foundation, is looking for a next step to help them go from where they are to where they want to be. Doug, you ready to move into the wealthy fitness entrepreneur?
I'm excited. I don't think this is something that the industry is talking enough about, and excited to dig in and share nuggets where we can.
All right. We'll see you guys in future episodes. Talk soon.